I'm Asma Mir with Sophie Benzing and Philip Studd, and this is the Midday News. So, environmentalists have clashed with police on the final day of their Heathrow protest. Here's our reporter, Paul Moss.
It's been quiet all morning and suddenly people are arriving for work. As I speak to you, they're being dragged away. The protesters are trying to move across the road, police holding them back, and you can hear the chants, "No third runway" is what they're chanting.
The scuffle took place outside the headquarters of BAA, which runs Heathrow. The campaigners were trying to stop staff getting to work. 5 Live's Leslie Ashmole is at the main protesters' camp at Heathrow. Leslie, what exactly has been happening today?
Well, you know, I think the protest really continued all night. People camped out at the headquarters of BAA. Then this morning, when people started arriving for work, they tried to disrupt them going into the building. As you heard, you know, minor scuffles, a lot of shouting, a lot of chanting. It was, do you know what's really strange, Asma? Yesterday, there were absolutely, well, I think honestly, there were maybe nearly 2,000 police officers at one stage here. Really, I'm not joking. There were so many police officers in full riot gear. Today, far, far fewer, ironically, just when people were arriving for work. But, you know, I think mostly you would say this has been a peaceful demonstration all week long. But yes, you know, a few scuffles and shouts outside BAA. I'm at the campsite now, which is, I suppose, beginning to pack up and go. I've got Gary Dwyer, who has been here all week, probably looking forward to having a shower. Do you think this has been a successful protest, Gary?
Yeah, I think it's been enormously successful. Yeah, we've made the third runway a really live political issue in this country, and the debate about aviation is right on the cards. People are really having to recognize the fact that we can't just talk about reducing carbon emissions. We're actually going to have to start doing it, and we've really been the first people to really say, let's actually take action and not just talk.
See, I'm not so sure, though, that, you know, pictures on the television of you trying to stop people going to work and shouting at people and clashing with police is going to do you any good, actually.
Well, most of the stuff clashing with police, if you look at the picture from yesterday, the police trying to trample people with horses. I mean, there was no... The stuff from police was violence from them yesterday, no violence from us. It's been peaceful all week, despite several attempts by the police to get a rise out of us, because, you know, this is peaceful protest. But we were blockading BA, absolutely. They want to build a third runway. This is going to increase climate change. This will lead directly to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people. Blockading an office to try and stop that and bring attention to that and turn these plans around, it's, you know, it's just to compare, it's a completely different scale.
Gary, you say that you were peaceful, but that clip that we heard didn't sound particularly peaceful. Wasn't that what this protest was supposed to be about?
But yeah, I mean, I wasn't there at that, so I don't know what the action was going on. So I have seen several things this week where the police have tried to get a rise out of people. I saw people beaten over the heads with batons yesterday while they were walking along peacefully, and they didn't respond and retaliate with that. So it has been peaceful all week. I didn't see that one earlier. I don't know what happens, but if the rest of this week's anything to go by, I don't think it was the protesters who were starting any violence.
Why do you have to block staff from getting to work? Why can't you just be there with your placards making your point?
Because no one would listen then, because it's only when you take direct action that it's going to actually get the attention that it needs. You know, I mean, we've been talking about carbon emissions, everyone knows the science, and yet nothing is actually happening. And time is really ticking. We have not long left. We have to make it count. So it comes to this, absolutely. And there are these moments when it comes to civil disobedience, it comes to breaking laws. You get things like the Vietnam War, you get votes for women, you get these protests they do force the social change, and climate change is absolutely that issue for this generation.
But how much support do you think you have among the general wider public?
I think it's enormous. There was a survey last week by Lonely Planet that said 93% of people who fly feel guilty about it for carbon reasons. So, you know, I think, well, listen to your conscience, behave as your conscience dictates, you know, and bring that in line. That would bring flights down by 93% overnight. Great, you know, and you'd be a happier person because you wouldn't have a troubled conscience.
Right, okay, Gary, that is your opinion. Thank you. That is Gary Dwyer. And Leslie, what is the situation? I mean, it's officially over. Are people packing up, or have they already gone?
People are packing up, yes. The wheelie bins that we saw arriving full of stuff on Saturday, I think it was, way back on Saturday, Sunday, they're all being wheeled out now. People packing up their tents and going home. I mean, I think, you know, one thing that I should say, that especially yesterday, when some of the big marches were taking place, there was a lot of local support. People here who didn't agree with any civil disobedience at all, but who did have a lot of support for the cause. So, I mean, I think it's been quite interesting. You know, there's been a lot of people like Gary who would say, civil disobedience is the only way to make their point, and a lot of other people who did take part in the marches yesterday who would say, I don't think civil disobedience does make the point, but I'm here to support the cause. It's been quite an interesting, quite eclectic week, I think, down at this camp at Heathrow. It's been a muddy week as well, Asma. I think it would also be fair to say.
Okay, Leslie, thank you for that. That is Leslie Ashmore reporting from Heathrow Airport.